Hello, this is Sean Sanders back with a video. Happy Vlogmas. I don't know, this is probably number 10. I'm feeling much better than yesterday. So we are going to talk about Dirty John now. This is episode 3, and I'm just going to tell you that I have not been so excited to see a show come on as much as this one. This has become my guilty pleasure. It is a limited series and I'm completely excited about it. So let's get into it. I have watched this video. I've watched the show, so you don't have to, but put in the comments if you've seen it and we can talk about it. So this episode deals with why Dirty John is Dirty John, okay? So it goes back and forth, but I don't want to do that to you because I will say it was a little confusing, and I'm going to tell you, I took tons of notes, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to bore you with that. So let's talk about what this episode did. It laid the groundwork on what Dirty John has done in the past, his MO, and talks about kind of who he is today. So he meets Tanya in the bar. Tanya is a nurse. She meets John. He's charming. He comes off as an attorney, and they have a whirlwind relationship now. It doesn't tell us how long they had a courtship, but based on what we've seen, it was probably very quick. He talks to her, gets her to talk to a school, and he gets into nursing school, right? And he is working in the same hospital as she is. They end up getting married. However, one of the things he does is he convinces her to never, ever, ever contact his family. They're monsters, they're addicts, they're alcoholics. He doesn't want her to be tainted with some of the information of what they did to him, and she is to promise him never to know, to contact the family. So she does. They get married. Now his boys, who are his law friends, they're the typical frat boys, jocks, and they're doing the thing, the best man does the toast and all that jazz, right? So they get married. They end up having 2 kids. They've been married for a couple of years. Everything seems to be doing well. And then she goes to a symposium. She's in awe of the speaker, who's a pediatric neurologist. She gets to talking. They end up talking about personal stuff, and then find out this speaker from the symposium who lives in Indiana, and they live in Dayton, Ohio, because this all takes place in Dayton, Ohio. She meets this speaker and comes to find out John's been having a 10-month affair with this pediatric neurologist, and supposedly by her accounts, it's really serious. So she confronts him, and he's like, what do you want me to say? She works twice a week doing surgery. She's home all the time, and she makes 3 times more money than you. So, Tanya's like, what you doing, trying to upgrade? And he's unapologetic, right? So, okay, there's that one shot, right? We also find out that during this time, he gets witnessed by another nurse switching medication. Now, he's supposed to be giving this patient pain medication, and he's actually switching it out with saline. And he is so smooth switching it that the nurse notices that he's done this before. Guess who the patient is? Right back to episode 1. So if you remember episode 1, he's taking care of this patient. I talk about, he seems to have really good bedside manner. And at the end of that episode, she's writhing in pain, saying that she does not believe that he gave her anything. It's because he didn't. The man's an addict. He's a drug addict. So the nurse who witnessed him do it reports him to the board, then tells Tanya, girl, you in danger, girl. Save yourself, save your kids, because I reported you. I reported your man. He's done this way too many times. He was slick as oil. And you may want to check your house, because CPS is gonna take your kids. You're gonna lose your license. So she confronts John. He denies it as any addict would. And then she decides to change the locks. You can't come in the house. Girl had a knife, like, we are going to go to death to this. He confronts her and he says the very words that we already knew. He says, I believe that you put me, I believe you turned me in. She's like, no. And he's like, okay. He's like, you don't even know me. And girl, you don't know him. You don't know him. So he's busy telling her, kiss your kids, enjoy your life because it's going to end real soon. And she gets nervous. And of course, this is where we hear about all the bad things that the ex did. But she was in danger and she needed to save herself. Okay, let me see if I forget anything because, let's see. I don't think I did. I got the highlights for you. Oh, so when he says you don't even know me, she decides to go talk to the best man. I think the best man's name is Ethan. And Ethan says, me and the guys were just wondering, like, we don't even know how you got caught up with him, how you hooked up with him, because you're so nice and so sweet and he's so not. And so on the, you know how you do the recording and you give the bride and the groom like best wishes and all this. So there's this back and forth banter with his boys, and he's called Filthy. Now, John said that he now takes baths and he has good hygiene, but that's not what it was about. Filthy actually meant dirty. Now, Ethan lets her know that he was doing coke. It was recreational, but he was also very shysty. He would take people's money and said he was gonna do roofing stuff, and he didn't do it. He started doing credit card scams and credit card frauds, and of course he was a player. He was nailing all the ladies, and so that's how he got the name Filthy, thus Dirty John. He barely got through the first semester of the second year of law school, so he didn't even finish law school. Man didn't even pass the bar, didn't take the bar. And he doesn't really know much about what happened, except that he was shysty and shady, and he's Dirty John for that reason. So after she gets that, she decides that, she's in danger, girl. And there we go. And she is calling someone by the name of Dolores. Now, Dolores sounds too young to be a relative. She may have been another one of his victims, okay? Now, that's what's going on with Tanya that happened in Dayton, Ohio. Keep that in mind. Fast forward to the present with Deborah. Deborah has been reeling with all of this information. She goes with her daughter, Veronica, to the PI. Now, the PI is a no-nonsense chick. And actually, the first thing she does is check with the attorney. The attorney is like, yeah, here's what's going on. He has a lot of multiple social security numbers, and he's not afraid to use a gun, and he's a bad guy. And so, do you want to get this annulled? She doesn't know what she wants to do. Then Veronica's talking to the PI, and she's noticing all these charges that we talked about the last episode with aggravated stalking and all of this stuff, and that he's been able to serve time served, and then get out. Now, when she looks at the timeline, she realizes the last time he got out of jail was 3 weeks before he showed up at the doorstep. So when Veronica thought that he looked like the delivery guy, he was pretty much homeless. He had no home of record, and that he was literally with the clothes on his back and showing up on a date with the sneakers and the cargo pants, and very much not looking OC at all. So they did the timeline. Now the PI meets with Veronica and Deborah, and Veronica is really, first of all, she puts herself into a panic attack, and Veronica takes her. Veronica, as her daughter, is a tried and true, and she takes her. They go see the PI. The PI is not telling her what to do. However, she did say that he has no problems using a gun. There have been police officers that have had restraining orders against him. And so he has boundary issues. And during this time also, her attorney has decided to not take her case because he's a dangerous man. So when she consults with the PI, she says, you know, what you may want to do. So remember the show, the movie Sleeping with the Enemy with Julia Roberts, where she had to fake her own death and then go someplace and have a whole identity? This is pretty much what the PI is telling her. She's like, you need to blend in with OC, which she already does. Don't stay in a hotel too long. Switch up your hair. Do all that. So now remember I told you that John had a drug problem? Now she leaves because she's like, well, you need to stay normal, and then you need a plan of escape. You're in danger, girl. So she's like, John is expecting to pick me up. I don't want to blow my cover. And so she goes and does that. They get home. He's on the floor collapsed because the man is jonesing. He's got a drug problem. Remember, when we fast forward, the woman from the first episode, he was taking her drugs so that he could deal with his drug problem. So the poor woman could have died of shock from surgery and no pain meds, and he took her meds. So she's really not understanding what's going on. She takes him to the ER. He's busy trying to talk to the nurse, telling her what he needs, all this high drug stuff. And so the nurse, I think it's a nurse, it might be a doctor, but the medical person is like, how long has he had this opioid problem? And she's like, I have no idea. I don't know. And John is busy like, I need what I need. And so she acquiesced, tells him she's going to give him whatever medication, fentanyl, whatever, that he's going to need. And so she's like, you know, I don't want you to dumb it down for me. And so, John, I'm not going to stay here. I'm going to go to the chapel, and I'm going to pray. Okay? And I'll see you tomorrow. So Deborah leaves, and he's going to get his drugs, and she walks past the chapel. She heads home. Girl ain't too stupid. I don't know if she got the money out of the ATM, but the girl still had rolls of dollars, and her daughter Veronica got some midnight movers, cleared the house, put it in the truck, and at the end of the episode, they are leaving like thieves in the night. 'Cause you're in danger, girl. So John has no idea that she has left, and she is gone. So this next episode is we're gonna see how she's gonna maneuver herself, because she can't stay in hotels longer than a couple of days. She's gonna have to change her hairstyle. She's going to not be able to have a normal life. Woo, that was good. Was that good? That was good. I'm telling you, this has been a good series. So we see the old girl and what he's done to her and try to ruin her life. Okay? And then we see Deborah, and Deborah doesn't know what to do, but she knows she needs to get out of Dodge. All right? And we find out that John is a dirty dog. All right? And he's done this more than once. So this is season 1, episode 3. Remember, it was me. If I forgot anything, we'll talk about it on the next episode. This was so good. I'm telling you, like on the edge of your seat, nail biting. He's dirty. I don't think I forgot anything. I really tried to boil this down. So take care of yourself and each other. Happy Vlogmas, and I will see you tomorrow. I'm going to talk about the Real Housewives of OC 3-part reunion, 3rd part reunion. Okay? Talk to you soon. Bye.